via the link from our website. Okay, thank you. So I'll now move on to introduce Meenakshi. She's been in corporate training and public training since 2011, and she has trained a variety of programs to various audiences in multiple countries. She believes that people learn best through practice, and she brings to her sessions hands-on activities and experiences that all of us can relate to and take back to use in our daily lives. So she'll be doing that with us for this session. She is a founding partner and manager of the Change business. They are based in Singapore, and they have been partners with us at SHRDC since 2013. So together we deliver a series of leadership, change management, and motivational programs for Malaysia and across Asia. For this session on positivity, she will share tips and practical ideas on how we can stay positive, especially during these stressful times. So the session will take approximately 30 to 45 minutes, followed by Q&A. And without further ado, I'd like to pass the session to Meenakshi. Over to you, Meenakshi. I'll stop sharing.
Yes, thanks, Elaine. Thank you so much, Elaine. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now, first of all, I want to say, I'm so sorry I don't speak Bahasa Indonesia. I'm going to try to speak slowly because I'm originally from India, so I speak very fast. If you find that I'm going too fast, please just write slow down in the chat box and I will do my best to slow down. If there is any point that you feel that you would like a translation, then we actually have Anna here with us in today's session, and she is going to be helping me to translate. So anytime you need to know what that means or something that you have a query about, please put it in the chat box and Anna is here to help you. Right? So please forgive me, like I said, I don't speak Bahasa Indonesia, but I speak positivity, which is what our session today is about. It's about choosing positivity in stressful times. So I don't know about you, but if I was to go a little bit back into the past, not even too much, maybe just December 2019, then as I looked into 2020, 2020 looked very bright. Sales were going up. It looked like our business would be doing very much better. And I even had a holiday that I was really looking forward to, a family holiday in March. That's what 2020 was looking like from 2019. And then this happened. Suddenly, the world got shrunk to the computer screen. And we were interacting not only with our own computer screen, but with people all on their own laptop screens, computer screens, phone screens all over the world. As we moved into lockdown or MCO or circuit breaker, whatever it's called. Now this has been quite a change in the way that we work, and that could cause stress. On top of that, we also have, on top of that, in this same space, we have our families. The children are home, the spouses are home, parents are home, the roommates are home. And we need to manage all of that in the same space. On top of that, that's where we have our me time. So all of this has led to stress levels going up for us. So in this time, the question is positivity even relevant? I'm so busy trying to cope with all of this. Why should I spend time and effort being positive right now? Because positivity does take time, does take effort, right? So that's what our agenda for is today. We're going to be looking at why are we looking at positivity, why positivity is important, especially in stressful times. And then what exactly do we mean when we say positivity? And finally, how can you be more positive? And I'll be sharing with you 3 practices to be positive. So let's think about the first one. Why is positivity important, especially in stressful times? Well, think about what stress does to you. Stress drains energy. And multiple research, multiple studies have found that when our stress levels go up, then it takes us longer to do the same task that we could do in a shorter period of time. I'm sure you've experienced it yourself. that as you're trying to complete things and you're stressed and there's a lot on your mind, it takes you longer. It drains energy. Stress also does one more thing, because there's an interesting relationship between stress and something else. As stress goes up, something else comes down. Would you like to take a guess what that is? Anybody? Okay. Here's what goes down. Intelligence. When our stress levels go up, our intelligence comes down. And we sometimes say things and do things that we wouldn't if we were not stressed. Stress causes us to make mistakes at work. Stress causes us even issues at home. I know if you talk to my husband, he will tell you that I've said things or done things. I'm not very intelligent when I'm stressed. And finally, when we need to serve others, when we need to serve our clients, when we need to serve our colleagues, when we need to serve even our family, you can't pour from an empty cup. Stress makes our cup empty. We need to replace that stress with positivity. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, the time for positivity is now. In normal times, positivity, maybe it could be considered unessential. But in times that we are under stress, in times of crisis, positivity becomes essential services. I think it's something that we need so much more when we are under stress. Okay? So that's why we need positivity. The next question that we need to look at is why? Okay, I already gave you some of my views, but let's look at what the smart people say. I'd like to share with you what Sean Aker, who is a positive psychology, who used to be a positive psychology at Harvard, and who has done a lot of research into positive psychology, has found. And this is what Sean says. Research proves that happiness or positivity, we're using the terms interchangeably, raise nearly every business or educational outcome. Based on his research, Sean found that those who were more positive and who were more happy had higher immunity. How many of you want to have higher immunity in times like this? Absolutely. They live longer lives and they live happier lives. But not only that, happiness or positivity actually has business benefits. And this ROI has been quantified by these studies that Sean has done. And here is what Sean found. He found that those who are more positive, who are more optimistic, actually are able to make 37% more sales. Now, this is not a figure that only comes from a book. A partner of ours in Malaysia did a project with an insurance company. And what they did was, for a period of 6 months, they focused on helping the insurance sales agents feel more positive. Over the period of 6 months, their sales went up by 30%. So this is not something that is only out of a book. This is actual working information in our region. Positivity or happiness also makes us 31% more productive. Our brain at neutral is 31% less productive than our brain at full positivity or at full optimism. And finally, and that's the study that I like the most, being positive actually makes you more accurate. Now that figure comes from a study that was done of doctors. And what they found was that when doctors were put into a more positive frame of mind before they met their patients, their accuracy of the diagnosis went up by 19%. Not only that, they were able to make diagnosis faster. So what does that mean for you? What it means is, if you have a grumpy doctor, change them. Okay? So we have the whys of positivity, the impact of stress, as well as the benefits that positivity brings to you. What exactly is positivity? That's a question that I get asked. We are so many different kinds of people. What does positivity mean? So let me give you a little bit of clarity about what positivity is. Here's what it isn't. Positivity is not about smiling all the time. In fact, that's not even possible, especially when we are facing problems or we are facing issues. It is natural for us to be sad or to be stressed. One of the saddest things that I faced in this situation is that a very dear friend passed on and we couldn't make it to her funeral because of the lockdown. It has meant that projects have been cancelled. It has meant that sales are coming down. There have been many impacts that we are feeling, and these are real issues. Positivity does not mean that you smile and pretend that there are no issues. What it does mean is that even as we see this reality, we can believe in our hearts that we are making a difference, that we can take action, and that what we say and what we do will matter, and that we have a hope for a better future. That is positivity. So I'd like to take a pause here. I've shared with you a lot of data and information. I'd like to share with you a story. Okay, before I go to the story, a quick one about how different people might experience positivity differently. Some might experience it as confidence. For some, it might mean calmness. For others, enthusiasm or energy. For others, playfulness, focus, gratitude. There are many positive emotions. All of that we count as positivity. You can have your own brand of positivity. So now that I've shared that with you, it's time for our story. So I would like to share with you a story that was told to us a few years ago by our business coach. Now, this is a real story because he was telling us about somebody he coached, a car salesman. I'm going to call him John. His name is not really John, but I'm going to call him John just for today. So John was a car salesman, not just any car salesman. John sold the Nissan Infiniti car, which meant that he was luxury. He was selling luxury cars. And obviously, he was making a lot of money on commissions. But that wasn't the only thing. John really enjoyed his job. He liked going to the showroom. He liked meeting clients, finding the best car for them. All of that, he really liked his job. He really loved what he did until this happened. So now you know when the story is set. It's set during the financial crisis of 2008. And when the crisis hit, then John's sales started looking like this. Not only that, if he switched on the news, then he heard about people losing their homes. If he went to his showroom, then it was all about others in the showroom talking about how sales were going down. There was a lot of doom and gloom everywhere. And that started making John feel negative. It started making him feel stressed. And so he came to our business coach. And he told him, this is what is happening. And I don't know what to do. So here is what our business coach told him. John, he said, you don't get to choose your circumstances. You can only choose your response. We don't get to choose our circumstances. We can only choose our response to them. We need to get better at our response ability. So I'm going to leave John thinking about this for a moment while I continue with you. So one thing that's very important for us to note is that positivity is actually a choice. It's a choice we need to make consciously, because when things happen and there's a lot of doom and gloom around and there's negativity that we are facing, then our mind and our brain tends to go into the negative. It tends to fight or flee or freeze. We don't want to go there. So we need to consciously make the choice to be positive, to be more response able. And sometimes we might need to make this choice daily, sometimes hourly, but it is always a choice. As John thinks about whether he's going to make this choice, I would like to share with you some how-tos about how you can make this choice, because we can make this choice by doing things. So I'm here to share with you how to be positive in stressful times. And I have 3 practices that I would like to share with you. Share a cup, appreciate your cup, and fill your own cup first. So in order for me to share this, I finally would like you to do something. Here's what I would like you to do. I would like you to bring out your smartphones. So could I get you all to pick up your smartphones, please?
Okay,
Please
maybe
pick up your...
I can jump in.
Yeah, sure.
Bapak Ibu semuanya, jadi kita mau mempraktekkan nih berpikir positif. Jadi ada 3 yang bisa kita lakukan, 3 hal. Satu adalah kita mencoba untuk melihat hal yang positif. Jadi Miss Mina mencoba meminta kita semua untuk mengeluarkan smartphone kita. Kemudian, okay, go ahead. Jadi tolong dikeluarkan smartphone-nya. Yeah.
And on that smartphone, I want you to go to the phone app and find your current favorite photo.
Oke, jadi Bapak Ibu diminta untuk melihat kembali foto-foto dan yang paling pilih satu foto yang paling favorit, yang paling disukai.
Yeah? Okay, I know all of you have smartphones and you have chosen that photo. Could you tell me in chat, what is in that photo? Is it other people? Is it things? Is it a holiday? Is it food? What is it? Could you please type it out in chat? What's in your favorite photo? And you don't need to write a long sentence, but just a few words. What's in your favorite photo? Okay. Is it of you cooking, Anna Maria? My children, myself, me and my mom, family members, the sky, my daughter's smile. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I'd like to share with you my favorite photos. This one is a photo of the last workshop that I did. I love doing workshops, and just looking at this photo makes a smile come to my face as I remember that energy. I'm looking forward to going back there. And I'm cheating. I actually have 2 favorite photos. This one is a photo of my children. And again, when I look at it, then it brings a smile to my face. If I look at the chat, then I will see that some of you have photos of flowers, of giraffe. Oh, Mantya, that's a lovely thing to have, like an artistic giraffe photo. So it's something about art that makes you happy, that makes you feel positive. It could be anything. What we have found though in our workshops is that 70 to 80% of the time, it's other people, or it's us doing things with other people that bring us joy. If you look at the chat right now, that's exactly what we have found. And that brings us to our positive practice number 1. Positive practice number 1 is about sharing a cup, connecting with people. When we connect with people, then that brings up the positivity in our own lives as well as other people's lives. Because we need to remember that social distancing doesn't mean that we need to be socially distant. We can still connect with the people that help us to be positive and energized. Many of you have said, my family, your daughter, they're all in the room with you, perhaps in the home with you. If they're not, they're only a WhatsApp away, a message away, a call away. You could even set up virtual meetings. So actually this Saturday, I had a virtual meeting with 19 families from all parts of the globe. Not only family, even with organizations. I know of a corporation in Singapore, and they have started organizing virtual coffees. So every morning they get on for a virtual coffee with a video chat, and they share. Another organization in Malaysia has actually started doing evening. So they've started having breaking the fast together. as an organization. In this time of fasting, in this time of prayer, it's a lovely thing to do it with other people, even if it's virtually. And of course, we need to remember the people who are in that home with us. How can we build that connection while we are in the home with the other people in the home, be it our parents, our children, our family, in whatever form that it is. So that's practice number 1. Let's share our cup. Let's build the connections. Research has found that social connections are the biggest predictor of success and happiness. Let's move on to practice number 2. Now for this one, I want you to do something. I want you to look around you, wherever you are, whether you're at home or at office, whatever part of the home you are. Look around and tell me in the chat, what do you see that brings a smile to your face?
Okay, let me translate ya Bapak Ibu. Kegiatannya kedua adalah Bapak Ibu diminta untuk melihat ke sekeliling dan melihat apa sih hal-hal yang bisa membuat Bapak Ibu tersenyum atau yang bisa membuat senyum di muka kita. Silakan.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I can see Charles says my piano. Mantia says the sky and the clouds, they're still beautiful. Ikun says, my cute cat. Oh, we are envious, Ikun. The empty road, my dog. Sometimes people tell us about, so let me share with you what's my thing at the moment. It's a cup. And when I look at this cup, it brings a smile to my face because this cup was presented to me by a friend of mine when I visited her in Australia. I met her after 25 years. And as I look at this cup, it brings up the memories. Now, here's the thing. Usually, we forget to notice things. Even as you looked around right now, was there only one thing that brought a smile to your face? Chances are there was more than one. But it's kind of blended into the background. As we get used to the things that brought smiles or brought us happiness, we forget to appreciate them. So that is practice number 2. Appreciate your cup. Rika says, seeing my ID card. Yeah, that might bring a smile to your face. So practice number 2 is about appreciating what is in our lives right now, in this moment. What makes us happy? And what I'm going to invite you to do now, in fact, or even just after this session, is to make a list. Make a list of 3 things that you appreciate that are in your life right now. And every day, I want you to add to that list. Just 3 things every day. And I assure you that in a little while, you will have a long, long list. Maybe you'll surprise yourself. There are many things still to appreciate in our lives. So let's appreciate them. Moving on to practice number 3. Practice number 3 is about fill your own cup first. So remember what we talked about earlier, you can't pour from an empty cup. So filling your own cup first is not a luxury, it's essential. Practice number 3 is about self-care. Taking care of ourselves, filling ourselves up. So how could we do that? Well, what we suggest is at least find one activity that energizes you, that makes you feel positive. So maybe for you, Charles, that's about playing the piano. And make sure that you add that activity to your day, to your routine, so that you're able to do it. Interestingly, one of the examples that I had was of playing the piano, because just a few days ago, I was speaking to a client of ours in China, and she came out of 2 months of complete lockdown where she could not even step out of her house. And you know what she said? She said, you know, that time was a gift because I could learn. I used to love playing the piano, but I never had time. And in those 2 months, I started playing the piano again. Not only that, my kindergarten age daughter, I could start teaching her. And that activity brought a lot of positivity and joy into our lives in those times of lockdown. A colleague of ours, she and her family, they love doing karaoke, but no more karaoke in these times. So what they've started doing is they come together in the evenings and sing without equipment, with whatever equipment they have. And it brings a lot of joy to them as a family. You could even start doing something new, like cooking. So a gentleman who works for quite a large pharmaceutical told me that he started a new skill. He started learning how to cook, and that brought him a lot of joy. So what's an activity that you can add to your day that can bring more positivity? So those, ladies and gentlemen, are the 3 practices. Now let's go back to our car salesman. Remember, we left him trying to think about, do I make this choice to be more positive? Because positivity requires time and requires effort. Well, I'm happy to tell you that he actually did make the choice to be positive. And as he made that choice, his coach asked him, he said, what is it that you really want your job? So what he did was he went back and he started pulling out the files of old clients that he had, and he started looking through them. And as he looked through them, a little bit like what we did in the photos, it brought back the memories of those conversations. It brought back the ideas of those conversations with the clients. And that helped him feel more positive and happy. He also started appreciating. He started appreciating, looking for things to appreciate. He started going back to the showroom. And as he did all of that, he started feeling like by himself, reaching out to people. He started building social connections, not to make a sale, but to connect with them. In the showroom, suddenly there was a ripple of positivity. People were getting infected by the positivity that he was exuding as he was appreciating everything. And guess what? Even customers started getting curious about that. And they started walking in. End result, in those times of crisis, John sold 13 Infinity cars, which was actually one of his best performances ever. He practiced the 3 practices of sharing a cup, appreciating your cup, and filling your own cup first. Okay. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I come to the end of my talk, my sharing. I only had half an hour with you, but I am open for questions. Before I move on to questions, thank you for filling my cup today, for participating, putting in those answers in chat. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Meenakshi, for that very good presentation. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being for participating in the activities that was lined up for you. I'll hand over the session now to Anna for her to provide a summary and manage the Q&A.
Okay, so thank you, Yilin, and also Mina for a very powerful and very good presentation. Short and sharp. Okay, very good. Okay, so I would like just to a bit summary of what you have said. Jadi Bapak Ibu semuanya, saya akan coba mensummarikan apa yang tadi sudah disampaikan oleh Miss Mina, bahwa perubahan itu terjadi sangat cepat dan banyak, terutama terakhir-terakhir ini. Nah, apakah kita masih punya waktu untuk berpikir positif? Tadi diterangkan oleh Miss Mina, kenapa kita perlu berpikir positif, apa itu berpikir positif, dan caranya gimana. Nah, ternyata Bapak Ibu, stres itu sangat berbahaya. Stres itu bisa mendrain energi kita, bisa membuat kita lebih lambat dalam berpikir karena intelijensia kita juga ternyata turun. Dan berpikir positif itu kebalikannya bisa membuat kita, riset menyatakan bisa membuat kita panjang umur, kita lebih happy, dan tidak kalah pentingnya adalah imunitas kita menjadi lebih tinggi, di mana juga membawa dampak ke bisnis, yaitu kita ada survei yang mengatakan ternyata pencapaian salesnya lebih tinggi 37%, produktivitasnya meningkat 31%, dan lebih akurat 19%. Apa itu positivity? positivity itu tidak berarti selalu tersenyum, selalu tidak ada masalah, selalu tidak mempunyai masalah gitu ya. Nah, jadi tadi Miss Mina sempat bertanya kepada kita apa yang mau kita bawa dalam diri kita, brand positivity kita apa? Apakah kita terlihat seperti orang yang selalu punya solusi? Apakah kita selalu membantu orang atau apa gitu ya? Nah, kemudian come kepada stress itu, positivity itu adalah pilihan. Artinya kita bisa memilih untuk menjadi positif, berpikir positif. Kenapa? Karena kita tidak bisa memilih kondisi yang terjadi di luar sana. Yang kita bisa milih adalah respon atas kondisi tersebut. Dengan menjadi positif, berpikir positif, itu adalah pilihan kita atas respon atas kondisi tersebut. Nah, di mana tadi ada 3 hal yang gimana caranya berpikiran positif. Yang pertama adalah sharing our cup. Jadi sharing our cup itu artinya apa sih yang membuat kita positif? Apa sih yang caranya dengan kita connect dengan people gitu ya. Jadi ada satu highlight yang menurut saya bagus sekali. Social distancing seperti sekarang ini bukan berarti socially distance. Artinya walaupun kita harus berjauhan dari sisi jarak, tapi kita tidak perlu membatasi diri kita dalam berinteraksi, dalam melakukan sosialisasi. Nah, jadi tadi activity yang pertama di mana kita diminta untuk melihat kembali smartphone kita, melihat kembali foto-foto kita, apa sih yang bisa membuat kita berpikir positif dan apa yang membuat kita tersenyum gitu. Nah, yang kedua adalah appreciate your cup. Kita hidup di dunia yang tentunya banyak di sekeliling itu banyak hal yang bisa membuat kita berpikir positif dan kita mengapresiasi apa yang kita dapat gitu. Nah, tadi kita ada activity yaitu melihat ke sekeliling kita apa sih yang kita mengapresiasi. Nah, ini juga ada PR dari Miss Mina adalah kita mencoba untuk membuat 3 hal setiap hari, apa yang bisa kita apresiasi dan tiap hari kita tambahkan. Kalau kita orang Indonesia mengatakannya apa yang membuat kita merasa bersyukur atas atas yang kita miliki. Dan yang ketiga adalah fill in your own cup. Jadi kita harus mengisi dulu apa yang kita cupnya kita. Bukan artinya kita egois, tetapi lebih kepada kalau tadi konsepnya adalah kalau kita cupnya kita empty, gimana kita bisa memfill cupnya untuk orang lain. Jadi artinya kalau kita sendiri tidak positif, bagaimana kita bisa membawa suasana positif kepada lingkungan yang lainnya. Jadi tadi coba cek satu atau coba temukan satu activity yang membuat kita menjadi bersemangat setiap hari ya. Nah, tadi closing yang menurut saya menarik adalah positivity itu perlu waktu dan usaha. Positivity itu bisa dipelajari, positivity itu bisa ditularkan. Jadi itu rangkuman dari saya. So that is the summary that I tried to catch up and try to summarize in a very short while. Okay, so back to you, Yilin. There's a question and answer, I think, in chat box.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe Mina is already in English, so you can directly answer the question.
Okay, so I have a question from Ikun, which says, is positivity more an emotion or a thought or thinking? Well, positivity is emotional, definitely. It's our emotions, and that's why I shared some examples of what the emotions are. But our emotions are impacted by our thinking. So how we are thinking about something will definitely drive how you're feeling about it. Yeah, that's the short answer. Then I have a question also from Ikun, which says, should I eliminate any negativity? Well, I shared with you, happiness or positivity is not about being smiley or happy all the time. It's not even possible. So it's not about eliminating negativity, but it's about bringing it down. Because when we are stressed, then it drains our energy, it makes us less intelligent, and it makes us less able to serve others. So we want to bring it down so that we can keep up our intelligence, keep up our energy, and keep up our connections with others.
Okay, Mina, we have some
Rika?
questions in the chat box as well.
Bu
Yes.
Lin also, yeah, Bu Lin have a very good question. How can we choose first in making positivity among the three choices?
Okay, so whichever one, so what I shared with you, in fact, this is kind of the same. So Rika has also asked, how can we still have positivity when we don't have much time for own self? Example, when we have a lot of deadline jobs. So here's the thing. All the three options that I shared with you don't take too much time. In fact, picking up your smartphone and looking for a photo, it takes a few seconds, but it can increase your positivity and bring down your stress. Positivity it doesn't take time as much as you think. Making a list of 3 things that you appreciate, it doesn't take too much time. Connections, having short conversations, catching up with people, it doesn't need to take time. So whatever it is, in fact, Boolean, whatever it is that you find from these practices, I would suggest you start all 3, but whatever you feel is the easiest for you and the simplest for you, you can start with it. So I'd like to share with you about one of the experiments that was done in a trauma hospital. So emergency doctors, they don't have time. Their deadlines mean life or death. All that they added to this team was in the morning when they were starting, so whatever time their staff meeting was, in the staff meeting, they introduced just one thing. They did a quick round, and in that round, everybody had to say one thing that they were grateful for in the previous 24 hours. Very fast, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. But they did a round of that before they started work. This hospital faced some of the most difficult challenges. They were actually the hospital that patients went to after a shooting. And the feedback that they got was just that simple practice of sharing in the morning helped them bring up their positivity and stay strong as a team in the midst of real crisis. So yes, it is stressful, but I'm suggesting that adding positivity in your life can be very simple and not very time consuming. Try it out. Try out any one of them. Try making that list of 3 things that you appreciate in your life every day, every morning. Writing down 3 sentences shouldn't take you more than a minute, and see what a difference it makes. Try it for 21 days.
I think we have a bit more questions on the chat box.
Sure.
I think Ikun is following up with the earlier question.
Okay.
Positivity is an emotion, so it's not about thinking. So maybe you can expand a little bit more on that.
So
also from Miss. Okay, go ahead.
So as I said before, positivity is an emotion, and there are actually a range of positive emotions. It is not just one emotion. It could be confidence, it could be calmness, it could be gratitude, it could be, so you know and I know what positive emotions are for us, because we all have like an internal meter reader. At any given point in time, I can assure you, you're going to be able to tell me whether you're feeling positive or negative. So positivity is an emotion. But where do our emotions come from? Our emotions are impacted by our thinking, whether that thinking is conscious or unconscious. So when I personally don't, let me see how I want to word this. I don't think positive thinking is the only route to positivity. I believe it is one of the routes that you can utilize. And there are many tools and techniques in positive thinking that are very useful and that I use myself. It's not the only route.
Thank you for that. Any more questions?
I think
Ladies and gentlemen?
Hefar, it's about that. Yes, there's so many things to do. Although it's, so it's quite stressful. So maybe you can have a suggestion how he can overcome the stressfulness and by being positive.
So Mantya, exactly what I've said before. When we are in the mode of simply responding to deadlines, it keeps increasing our stress. What are you not taking time for? You're not taking time to fill your own cup first. It's just getting drained. How can you fill your own cup with just a few minutes or practicing a few different habits, a few minutes a day? Can you start making a list of 3 things that you appreciate every day for 21 days? It won't take too much time, but notice what difference it makes for you. As you start noticing and appreciating, it rises, positivity rises for us. It raises emotions in us that are more positive. It automatically brings down the stress. When you are less stressed, you have more energy actually to do your jobs. And that's why we even suggest taking a pause, hitting the pause button, not forever, but for a few minutes, for a few seconds, for a few times in the day can make a huge difference to your positive feeling and your bringing down your stress. I've only been able to share with you 3 things, but you can look up the net. There are so many other things that you can practice. Studies have found that just 5 minutes of mindfulness can bring down your stress levels by over 20%. That's a big benefit of spending 5 minutes. Positivity doesn't need to take a lot of time. It does take time. It does take choice, you making the conscious effort, but it doesn't have to take a lot of time.
Right, thank you for that, Mina. I think one last question from Ikun. She's put it in the chat box.
Is there a negative side of positivity?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a negative side of positivity? Well, it depends. I haven't had a chance in today's session to go very deeply into what exactly positivity is. I quickly touched upon the fact that the way that I use the word positivity, that we teach the way positivity is about being a realistic optimist, which means that we are able to see that there are issues, there are problems. At the same time, we can be positive and hopeful and know that whatever we are doing can make a difference. What you're talking about is perhaps the irrational side of positivity, where so there are people who are like, no, let's just smile. Let's not look at that. Let's just be happy. It's important to be happy. In fact, in organizations, this is a problem. When bosses come or when people want to just be making other people happy, but they're not solving problems, that could be a negative side effect. But that only happens if you're ignoring problems, if you're ignoring issues, if you're ignoring reality. If you can see reality and at the same time have hope for a better future, that is real positivity. And I don't see a negative side to that.
All right. Thank you so much again, Mina. I'm sorry I was on mute. I think that was a really good closing statement for the session today on our Q&A session. So now we move on to a poll. We're doing a quick poll to get your feedback on the session and on the content as well, ladies and gentlemen. So it will come on shortly, and we would appreciate it if you could just quickly answer. Here you go. And Anna, maybe you want to...
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so Bapak Ibu, kita sudah sampai kepada akhir daripada sesi ini. Semoga apa yang tadi disampaikan oleh Miss Mina ini memberikan manfaat dan kita bisa terus melatih pikiran kita agar selalu bisa berpikiran positif di situasi yang memang sangat stressful seperti sekarang ini. Karena sekali lagi bahwa positivity itu adalah pilihan. Jadi kita bisa memilih untuk bersifat positif dan itu bisa ditularkan dan bisa diajarkan. Jadi Bapak Ibu, dengan itu kita sampai terima kasih Bapak Ibu telah hadir dan minta tolong untuk bisa mengisi feedback. Yang pertama adalah apakah webinar ini sesuai dengan ekspektasi Bapak Ibu semuanya. Saya dengar info bahwa beberapa peserta tidak berhasil masuk ke dalam chat room ini, saya nggak tahu kenapa, tapi ada beberapa yang info ke tim kami bahwa memang belum bisa masuk. So some the participants cannot enter the webinar. It's quite unfortunate, but just being I don't know what happened. Yeah, so that is one. The second one, pertanyaan feedback yang diminta adalah apakah webinar ini mau motivasi Bapak Ibu semuanya, artinya positivity ini nanti akan dipraktekkan dan akan tadi beberapa PR dari Miss Mina itu supaya kita bisa berpikir positif, menuliskan 3 hal yang menurut kita sangat membuat kita berenergi setiap hari berpikir positif. Dan yang ketiga adalah apakah Bapak Ibu berminat kalau misalnya nanti ada kegiatan untuk full program untuk program ini, apakah berminat atau ikut atau tidak. Jadi 3 hal ini tinggal diklik aja, Bapak Ibu silahkan.
All right, I think that's that will do. Thank you very much for your feedback and for your comments, for your contribution to the session. We hope to see you again. To follow up on this session, you will receive an email from us providing you with the links to a recorded version of this webinar. For any further questions, I will share the contact details with you shortly. Okay, these are our contact details. So you can contact Miss Anna, obviously, and her colleagues at the company. She's available via email or WhatsApp, or you can contact us at SHRDC. That's our generic email, and that's our phone number at the office as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Feel free to feedback to us via other channels, including the contact details provided. Mina, would you like to say a few words to end before we end the session?
I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us in your lives. For all the questions, every time you ask questions, that brings clarity. And I really hope that you enjoyed today's session and be happy and positive from now. It's a choice.
Thank you, Mina. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.